case you're absent. You're aware of that, right?
Set reminders for school.
Sure. Okay, standard form. Explain how to find the vertex of a quadratic when the function is written in standard form. So far, this year we have done vertex form, not standard form. And vertex form is a really nice form. Because as we learned, we can just go opposite same, and we see the vertex. Because we have this, our friends A, H, and K. Can you write that down, please? Y equals A times the quantity x minus h squared plus k. That was vertex form. If I give this numbers, y equals negative 2 x minus 3 squared plus 1, you should be able to look at that and tell me the vertex. Everyone watch my hand. What do we say for the guy inside the parentheses? Opposite, outside, same. So everyone together. Ready? Opposite, same. That doesn't sound like everyone. Let's try this again. Opposite, same. Much better. Now tell me the number. If we say opposite, we're going to say which number? 3, 1. I still heard some negatives. Why is it not negative 3? Because we say opposite. The opposite of a negative would be a positive, right? So the inverse, 3, 1. So this form is really nice because we can just look right at it and say opposite same, and we see the vertex, which means we can graph it. Sarah, can you keep up, please? So if I graph this guy, oops. One, 2, 3, 4, 5 on the x-axis. One, 2, 3, 4. I think this y-axis needs to be a little longer if I think about it. Whoa, what happened there? There we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, negative 5. Okay, the vertex is 3, 1. So we go right 3, up 1. Okay. Point, please. Which way does this open? Does it open up or does it open down? Point, please. Which way does this parabola open? Does it open up or does it open down? I don't see anyone over here pointing. Look at the function written in red. Does it open up or does it open down? Whew, to be honest, I only see 2 people with the right answer. Oh, for real. AJ, why are you putting down? That's it. Good. So see this multiplier, the negative? That's why it's opening down. Because all the negative numbers are downs. So that's you doing okay? How's your head? How's your head? I had a concussion once. It wasn't very fun. Karate kicked in the forehead, dancing. Had a Harry Potter H scar on my forehead, a girl's heel imprint on my forehead. Called it my Harry Potter scar. It hurt. I'll tell you what. I'm sure getting hit in football is even worse. Okay. So, and grades were due the next day. I totally messed up most of my students' grades because I couldn't think. Because it was like, after I submitted grades, I drove myself to the hospital. And then I found out I had a concussion. No, it was mild, but definitely affects you. It's hard to think and focus. Okay, so if we're going down, let's remember those ratios. What's the first ratio for the shortcut? Oh, has it been a long weekend? 1 over 1.
And 3 over...
Ooh, about 3. 4 over 2. And if we have a multiplier, that's affecting our rise. So I'm going to multiply our rise by negative 2. So my first set of points leaving the vertex is going to go down 2, run 1. That's your rise. This is your run. From the vertex, I would go down 2, right and left 1. The next set of points follows the ratio of 4, 2, but I have a multiplier, -2. So I multiply that to my rise, and I get -8 over 2, and you don't simplify it. Starting at the vertex, I'm going to go down -8. Ooh, if I'm at 1, and I subtract 8, how low am I going to go? Good, -7, so I need a couple more on this. Down to -7, and I run to the left, 2, and I run to the right, 2. And that, remember it's curved like a U, not pointed like a V. That is my parabola. That was from vertex form. Well, today, we're going to change it up to standard form. Standard form is useful in different situations, but it's not as convenient to see the vertex. Standard form is the form y equals ax squared plus bx plus c. So this one in black was vertex form. This one in purple is standard form. Y equals ax squared plus bx plus c. A, B, and C are just going to be numbers. I'm on the wrong page. There we go. So, if I gave some numbers to this, one example would be y equals x squared minus 6x plus 4. Y equals x squared minus 6x plus 4. Anyone know the vertex? Can we just do opposite same? No, it's in a different formation, so unfortunately we can't actually just see the vertex. But I do know something about the vertex. I know the vertex is here. This is the other formula, the other function. And I also know the vertex is always on this line. Does anyone know what that line's called? We've talked about it before.
The y-axis.
It's an axis, but it's not the y-axis. Of what? Axis of? There it is, symmetry. You had the S coming. It was slowly coming. Axis of symmetry. That line, if I folded it in half, would it move itself? Yep, because this point, these points are always equidistant. That's 2 away. And this one is 2 away. So it comes right back to meet itself. These ones are 1 away, 1 away. Fold on to itself. So we have axis of symmetry. There's a nice little formula for axis of symmetry that will give us the x-coordinate of the vertex. Axis of symmetry is the line, ALS is the abbreviation for axis of symmetry. X equals negative b over 2a. Beginning in November, we'll learn a very, very useful formula that this axis of symmetry actually comes from. So we'll see it again beginning in November in just a couple weeks. So we have to identify from our function what the value of b is. With your partner, because it's going to take a few hands, what is the value of b? With your partner, what is the value of b? Because I'm going to plug in a b. From this guy, what is the value of b? With your partner, hold it up. And she's like, I need another finger. Guys, with your partner, it's going to take at least 3 hands to do this. That's why you need a partner. What's the value of b? There you go. What's the value of b? What's in the b position? ax squared plus bx plus c. What's by the x? b as in boy. It's right by the x. There you go. There you go. Do you have a negative sign in there? There you go. Awesome. Awesome. Yeah. Okay, good. It's firing coming out. Okay, get quiet please in 3, 2, shh. 1. Alexis, what'd you get for B? -6. Good. And if we're going to do a negative B, that would be +6, correct? over 2 times a. Fingers in the air, what's in the a position from our function? No, it's a number, it's not x. There's 1, there's 1x there. So I get 6 over 2, which is 3. The axis of symmetry is not 3, though. You will get it wrong if all you put is 3. The axis of symmetry is an equation. X equals 3. X equals 3. It's not just 3. 3 is a point on one of the axes. X equals 3 because it slices down the x-axis at 3. So if we know the x-coordinate of the vertex, how could we find the y-coordinate using the function? If you know x, how do you find y?
Plug in X and solve.
Plug it in, plug it in. Remember those old commercials? Probably before you were born. Plug it in, plug it in. Yeah, there you go. So when we find the vertex, this is what we do. Plug in the axis of symmetry. Wherever there's an x, I'm going to replace those x's with parentheses. Y equals parentheses squared minus 6 parentheses plus 4. There's a couple of reasons why I want parentheses. Give me a sec to write that and I'll tell you. Y equals parentheses squared minus 6 parentheses plus 4. Parentheses are helpful if we're dealing with negatives so we don't mess up the sign. Another thing, what is between this negative 6x and the x? What's between the negative 6 and the x? Multiplication. Is it true that right here, if I put parentheses, it's also showing multiplication? So it takes care of that for us, so we don't have to worry about the operation. And now we're going to plug in our x equals 3 into all of the parentheses, because those were where the x's were. Okay? Kevin, following order of operations, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, what would we do first to simplify? Okay, but is there anything in the parentheses to do? No. So what would be the first one we actually have? Exponents. So Kevin, 3 squared would be 9. So we get 9 minus 6 times 3 plus 4. What comes after exponents? What comes after exponents? Get paper out, please. What comes after exponents, guys? Multiply. The negative 6 times 3 would be negative 18. Minus 18 plus 4. Addition and subtraction goes left to right. So I do 9 minus 18, which is what? Good. Plus the 4 leaves me with y equals negative 5. Nope. Addition and subtraction goes left to right. So we start on the left, and we do 9 minus 18 first, and then add the 4, which leaves negative 5. So the vertex, here is the y value, here is the x value. Can we make a point out of those? If we have a y and we have an x, is that a point? Yes. So our vertex then is 3, negative 5. 3, negative 5. Okay, and we can graph that. Let's see. First of all, before I set up my graph, I look at 2 things. Look at my y. It's negative. Also look at the a. Is it positive or negative? So we'll open up or down if it's negative. Or positive. Ah, it's positive. It opens up. So I'm starting at negative 5 and I'm opening up. You okay? Do you need a Band-Aid? I have Band-Aids. I have tape as well. Here you go. Okay. Oops. I need a negative 5. Oh, you might, no. There we go. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on my x-axis. 1, 2, 3, 4. I need to go down to -5 because I know my vertex is way down there. Always, always, always label, put arrows, put an X and a Y, and label the numbers so we know, do your graph, we know what you're counting by. My vertex was at 3, -5, so that's right here. Let's look at our multiplier. A is the multiplier. What's the value of A? Let's use yellow. The value of A was what? 1. So if we're multiplying by 1, is our steepness, our slope's going to change, the arms of the parabola. If we're multiplying by 1, it'll stay the same. So all we have to do is follow our pattern of ratios. The first ratio was 1 over 1. What was the other ratio? Good. If you memorize those, it'll make it so much faster for you to graph these parabolas. So, get a new color here. How about orange? From my vertex, I go up 1, left 1, up 1, right 1. For my rise, 1, run 1. Start again at the vertex, and I go up 4, left 2, and right 2. And there is my parabola. And what is this guy right here? Yep, and it's a vertical line that slashes through the x-axis at what number? +3, so that's why we call it x equals 3. Because the axis of symmetry is a vertical line that slashes through the x-axis at x equals 3. Okay, do you have your books? For the next problem, it's a physics problem, quadratics, help us a lot with, yeah? You didn't come with a book from your other class? What about you? Did you come with a book from your other class? Okay, I'll get you guys one at the end of class. So right now, we're just going to formula off the book. Page 130. Look at your neighbor's book, you two. Page 130. 130. Christian, did you bring your book? How do you not have one? You've been in this class for a while. Yeah? What? No. What? Oh my goodness. You have to get one at the end. Okay, page 130. In the blue box, there is a physics equation there, a formula on page 130 that helps us with what are called vertical motion models. If you ever throw something or launch something, what type of path does the object take if you throw it or launch it? Does it go straight? You do it with your arm, what'd you just do? Can you give a name to that? Woo, you just do it with your voice, what's it doing? Dropping how? What's the shape, Elizabeth? An arch. Curves like a, so to the P, parabola. If you throw something, launch something, it's a quadratic. And on page 130, it has the formula we need in that box on page 130. Raise your hand when you find the formula. It starts with H equals.
H equals -16 per second plus half.
There's more. It's at the bottom. BT. Okay. This you need, and I'm going to put a little knot with the V. You kind of see in physics class more with a 0. That little sub-zero is N-A-U-G-H-T, knot. And that means instant, the initial velocity. So this guy's what we need. On example 2, just write down the important information as I read it. Raise your hand when you see something important that we should write down. During halftime of a basketball game, a slingshot launches T-shirts at the crowd. A T-shirt is launched with initial upward velocity of 72 feet per second. There we go. Cheyenne, what should we write down? Yep, initial what?
72.
Per second. Yep, we need that. Initial upward velocity of 72 feet per second. Okay? The t-shirt is caught 35 feet above the court. How long will it take the t-shirt to reach its maximum height? Should you write down the questions? Yes, you need to know what you're answering. If these are your notes, you need to know, and when you look back on them during Magic Minute time or to study for your test, you need to know what the example was. There's actually a couple questions. How long will it take to reach its maximum height? What is the maximum height? And what is the range? There are 3 questions. H represents height, which makes sense because H, height. T represents, what do you think? Time, that makes sense. V naught is our initial velocity, if you need to write that note to yourself. V naught is initial velocity. C, we've used before. C is the initial height. Okay, so we're going to plug into our physics formula and find, because when you launch something, it's going to follow a quadratic, and find the maximum height. And maximum height, if you get to the maximum, that actually has a vocabulary word that we've been talking about. It's the vertex. So you find the vertex. Okay, so let's do this. H equals negative 16. Do we know T? Do we know the time? No, that's one of the questions. How long? That's one of the questions. Plus V naught. Do we know the initial velocity? Chris?
How about it says 64 instead of 62?
Because it's a different problem. I'm going to use that one on the next problem.
Oh.
Okay? Do we know the initial velocity? What is the initial velocity? 72. And you don't have to put the feet per second. Plus C. C is the initial height. Ditto, what's the initial height? Oh, this is a trick question. It's kind of mean for me to pick on one person. Turn to your neighbor and discuss what is the initial height. And it's tricky, so be careful.
5 feet.
My side is initial. I'm just kidding.
Where it starts. Yeah. Oh.
Whatever.
No, it's not. I wasn't allowed to ask. I can't.
Okay.
Think of potato.
Let's see. Shh. Miriam, did you guys find it out? What do we think? Is it 5 or is it 35? Yeah, we have to get from the picture. The people, they're holding it up at 5 feet. So you're right. Good job. Did you guys see that? That's 5. Okay, so we have our A, B's, and C's. If we want to find the vertex, we do exactly what we just did. One, we find the axis of symmetry, and then we plug it in. And we have the vertex, which tells us everything we need to answer the questions. So the formula, always, always, always write down the formula. The more you write it down, the more it will be memorized. ALS, X equals, Katie, what's the formula? The axis of symmetry. It's on your notes, example 1. The first example we did. I don't think we labeled example 1, but that first standard form example.
So Y
X equals, axis of symmetry. X equals negative. What's the X? She's a little lost. Let's see if we can.
Negative E over.
Over
2A.
2A. Yeah, that's what I'm looking for. Okay, Mia, what is in the B position?
72.
72 is in the B position. It's right there by the T. So we're going to write negative 72 over 2 times whatever A was. Kaylee, what's in the A position? What's in the A position of our formula, our function here, which is in orange? Good, because they go in order. A, B, C. Okay? So I have negative divided by negative will be a positive, correct? Isaiah, name? Hope you're writing. Okay, Skylar, you have a calculator. Can you type that in for us, please? 72 divided by 32. X equals 2.25. Okay, we got this number. What in the world does it mean? Bella, can you tell me what this means?
That
It's somewhere on the graph. What are our two categories in this problem? Okay, yeah, but this time they're labeled something different. We're not measuring X and Y. One of them is right there. What's that 5 unit? Feet. Is feet vertical or horizontal? Are we measuring, feet is the height. Is that vertical axis or the horizontal axis? So that's height in feet versus this axis. Our x-axis has a different name. Time in seconds. So, x equals, you have to know what your answers mean. This is seconds to the vertex, which is the maximum height. So when you get that axis of symmetry, and you're launching something, it's going to be a maximum. It's going to tell you how many seconds it takes to get to the maximum height. So we've answered one of the questions. Now it asks, what is the maximum height? And height is the y-axis. So if we know the x, whoa, that was weird. If we know the x, how do we find the y? We just did this on the last problem. There's a little song. Plug it in, plug it in. If you know x, it's an old commercial from like, I don't know what it was they were selling. I can't remember anymore. Oh, the Glade plugins. That's what it is. Okay. When we want to find the max height, plug in the seconds we got. This is why you should be bringing a calculator or picking up a calculator at the beginning of class. I plug that in wherever there is a t, I put parentheses. When I plug in, I put parentheses just in case that number is negative. We really need parentheses. I got that from right here. Wherever there was a t, I put parentheses. And in that t, we're going to put what Skylar told us, 2.25. With calculators. Plug it in really quickly. Pull out your calculators. Plug it in. Tell me what you get. And this is h equals, which is explaining to you that it's the height. It says h equals, it's telling you a height. What do you get? Guys, when you come into class, you should pick up a calculator at the beginning of class. Yeah?
86.
Does anyone else second 86? Shouldn't be negative because we're going up. It should be positive. Does anyone second 86? Second meaning you agree with it. Mateo, I see you have a calculator. Did you plug it in?
I'll agree with everyone's brain.
Okay, AJ seconds. Thank you, AJ. Guys, if you need calculators, get them at the beginning of class. 86. This is, what does it mean?
It's the
Maximum height in feet. 86 feet is the max height. Okay, so if we did a rough, well, I have my rough graph right here. It starts at 5 feet, so it starts and then goes up and down. And right here, it hits 86 feet. And it takes 2.25 seconds to get there. And actually, it doesn't go all the way down. Someone catches it in the crowd at 35 feet. Someone catches it. So as for the range, so be very careful. The t-shirt does not start on the ground. That's the lowest value of the t-shirt. Put it up in the air. What's the lowest height the t-shirt will be at? Because the t-shirt does not start at the ground. Arya and Omar, what's the lowest point that the t-shirt will be at in its travels? Good. 5, and since it will actually be at 5, we'll put a bracket, and then it goes all the way up to 86 and starts coming back down. We'll actually hit 86. Yes. So we put a parenthesis. That is the maximum height it reaches. Not a parenthesis, a bracket. I will get, you guys can read the book in just a second. The homework for tonight, progress report if you haven't done that yet. Page 129, 1 through 16 and 18, yes? I got 86 as well, so double check how you typed it in. I'll put it right back up here. Oh, it's this one right here. Double check, make sure you have the squared, make sure you have the plus 5. Did you have the plus 5? That's probably what you're missing. Okay? Those few people who needed books, come see me in the back.